Hello my friends, welcome back. Ciao ragazzi. Le 2:25, quindi ancora un'oretta e poi mi mandano. Devo lavorare? No, ma tanto penso che devo andare. Perché come avevo detto, per un mese ci sarà bisogno di andare in un posto che io vado a lavorare entro le 19. Quindi lui notifiche su Facebook. Puoi trasformare il tuo posto in un evento. Lo so che posso trasformare il posto in un evento. Una base è un'altra. Cioè, nel senso, ho avviato lo stream, cosa mi metto lì non fare? Perché se io provo adesso faccio pubblica, no? Vuol dire, stai organizzando un evento. Ho fatto continuo. Crea un evento, nome dell'evento, pubblica l'evento, ma non ce vuoi. No, no. Onestamente non ho voglia di creare un evento, anche perché ci vuole del tempo, eccetera. E forse ha senso farli più eventi, però, però non so, chiamarlo evento, sì, però appunto, evento ci starebbe la serie, lo dico prima io, ma c'è nel senso, la base è quella. Il lavoro che ho è difficile dirgli ok, questo giorno a quell'ora io faccio questo. Preferisco mettere un post e dire guarda sono live adesso. In base a quello. Com'è la telecamera? Abbastanza bene. Anzi va benissimo. Ok. Allora, qui siamo abbastanza ok. L'unica cosa che manca. Voglio provare quello che mi ha detto il mio amico. Vediamo se riesce. Allora, per fare cookie. Sì, l'ho già fatto. Per fare cookie. No, guardavo l'evento che mi ha dato il pop-up. Per fare cookie mi serve Elemental Mastery. A manetta. Comunque non credo che devo andare qua. È da un po' che non lo faccio questa cosa. Poi continuiamo con Tekken. Se riusciamo, continuiamo con Tekken. Però prima volevo fare una cosa che mi ha consigliato un mio amico. Che era da un po' che non faccio, da un po' che non faccio. Infatti non so manco dov'è. Dove cavolo li trovi quei così? No, volevo trasformare la. Non è questo ovviamente, ma volevo trasformare la mia. Cavolo. Poi se abbiamo una chiappa. Non lo vedo, va veramente sul tavolo di alchimia. Ehm, Volevo far diventare la resina ehm, normale in primordiale, giusto si chiama? Ah, ma ci vado sopra. Difficile. Ah, servono questi. Puoi farne 4. Ok. E costa, non mi piace. Costa 400. E quanto avanza? Zero. Il mio amico mi ha detto di fare così. Adesso andiamo, prendiamo un attimo questo, andiamo qui da addestramento, ci becchiamo personaggi, qui, manufatti. Io voglio mettere su manufattura, quindi teletrasportiamoci e facciamo. Non so se spingere per cookie, poi vediamo. Poi non lo so, cioè nel senso il mio amico mi ha detto io quando devo fare i manufatti vado lì, faccio quello, ne ottengo eccetera eccetera, poi vado. E lui dice che è molto più veloce, efficiente, I guess, non lo so neanche io. Vediamo, nel senso che se voglia continuo a fare così. E ripeto, io avevo già fatto qualcosa del genere tempo fa. Poi ho lasciato perdere. Ho lasciato perdere. Il personaggio in scrittura 300 di danno per suddetto effetto, ogni accumulo è durata, ci sono, puoi avere 4 accumuli contemporanei. Eh, vediamo. Ma a livello 90 chi affrontiamo? C'è nessuno che lo fa. No. È arrivato un ragazzo. Due ragazzi, guess. Quindi c'è Giro. Acqua, ok, allora io prendo Iacono. Andiamo pure. Ah no, aspetta, è stato uno. Quando è così basta anche due persone, tanto ci ho fatto. Miau.
The wind rises.
Manca un healer. Ah no, lei è un healer.
Relax.
Sì. Vediamo se prende Tagliare. L'unica cosa buona è che Ziano 1 è nuova per stare delle nuvole, quindi la gente la usa ed è un healer. Il problema è quello. Il problema dei domini è quello. Ti vogliono fare main DPS, poi non c'è una reazione elementare per un cacchio e dici... Che dici cazzo? Ah, va bene.
One with the
So che anche questi domini te li puoi fare anche da solo, cioè i nemici non è che sono... i funghi fanno ridere, il copertivo stanno per di cazzo.
Illusion shattered. Embrace the ice. You shall perish.
I hear everything.
Il mio coso sta andando a quel paese. E ne hanno tre discate, onestamente. Io voglio usare la resina condannata. Perché da 2 o 3 il mio amico mi ha detto ce ne vale la pena, però boh, magari per far più veloce, sì. Però a questo punto vedi queste cose qua e dici... Cavolo. Ne prendi qua. E quello è il senso del discorso. Tu fai il calcolo. Adesso non posso tanto stare lì perché sono lost, eccetera. Metti che te ne fa 2 alla volta. Non sbagliato.
Make way for the adept.
Adesso sono un po' concentrato, quindi fare calcoli da là non ci riesco.
There is no escape. Great clouds converge. Embrace the ice.
Sono veramente impegnato.
Now you shall to oblivion. Take flight.
Perché non farlo con la cosa di ieri? Guarda che appunto, essendo che ce l'ho C4, dovrei usare io la rete. Oh. Mi dà il kit così subito istantaneamente, cioè, dai, intanto mi dà queste cretinate qua. Mi dà il kit intero in già. Perché abbiamo bisogno di Elemental Master. Ne dà 2-2 lui. No, adesso voglio provare 2-3 giorni per vedere come mi trovo, non mi trovo. Siamo tutti. Manca uno. Perché ne manca uno? Ora acquistato. Che è successo? Va bene. Lo ho proprio via libera.
There is no escape.
Il bagno.
Take flight. Torn to oblivion.
Questi qua vanno via in 2 secondi. Potrei anche farmi offline. Cos'è? Input lag? Aspetta, mi vediamo un attimo ragazzi. No. Si è fermata un'altra volta lì. E loro non mi stanno colpendo, va bene, vediamo. Ops, vabbè, volevo dire. Niente. Pensato. Questo poi prima, non devi stare dei 3 anni a fare eccetera. Ah, tanto se n'è andato. Lo so più una volta. Però tanto insomma, se dura una settimana, 4, 8, 12. 4 giorni lo fai, quindi non è che sia un gran problema. Però boh. Sempre. Andiamo. Voglio provare con Ida. Proviamo, lui vuole, cosa vuole? Ehm, Ida. Cookie non c'è un cacchio. Dove Fisk? Non c'è ancora Cookie. Non prendevo Cookie. Mi piace la posa di Monaci. Che poi abbiamo incontrata nel loco.
Delves into very knowledge. By royal decree. Committed to memory. Everyone hold hands.
Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Temple of wisdom.
No rest for the wicked.
Hey.
Che sta.
I see everything. Make yourselves at home. Wings of darkness, come, sever night from day. I summon thee.
No, piano.
Oz reveal.
Poverino. Muore. Boh, potete provare così 2 o 3 giorni, poi anche voi cittadini di YouTube o anche Twitch, whatever, potete dirmi la vostra. Tanto. Magari era la stessa cosa in realtà. Oh. A me non mi convince perché lo fai finto. Quello sì. Non mi convince per quello. Però il mio amico mi ha detto sì, che ti dà i set completi quasi ogni cavolo di volta. Mi sono dimenticato di prendere i cosi di... Vabbè, non fa niente. Faccio. Meno male che mi sono svegliato prima, allora. Ho sentito un rumore nefasto e comunque lo ripeto ogni live perché magari qualcuno entra e dice ma che cacchio? È il mio telefono con la chiamata di lavoro. Se sentite un rumore nefasto, lo ripeto ogni volta perché magari sei lì tranquillo, senti e dici ma che cacchio?
Ad Astra ab
Davvero non ho preso questo? Eh, Quanta roba? 11, poi questo sì, ci sta. Cosa mi piace? Ho preso un po' di roba. Allora quindi anche questo non è stato fatto stamattina. Pensavo che l'avevo fatto. Beh, non fa niente. Sono svegliato alle 10:30, ma tanto non ho lavorato. Cioè non ho lavorato, non ho giocato. Non ho fatto il lavoro dietro le quinte, yes. È quello che volevo dire. Livello 11. Level up. Level up. Allora, fammi vedere un attimo qua. Secondo me mi ha dato solo un coso. Insetti in manufatti. Um, Sogni dorati è interessante se hai un personaggio diverso in ogni per il gruppo, quindi ti fai praticamente Aida. Che ne so, cookie, poi ti metti uno di acqua e poi ci metti un freebie che può essere Jongli o qualcun altro. Funziona. Però io voglio questo. Mi ispira. È dato uno, due. Che non ha mestiere mentale su nessuno dei due. No, uno c'è. Ok. Ok. E avevo visto che me ne aveva dati due. Dai, adesso che era questo. Sì, te ne dà due alla volta. Però fammi un attimo pensare. Andiamo pure con lei. Anzi, non serve a niente. Andare qua. Tanto abbiamo qua. Come i tasti. Oh, ma no, è venuto fuori assieme. Ops. Non è che arriva una ida incavolata. Allora, fammi pensare, se io lo faccio normalmente 160, quindi 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14, 16, 8 volte. 8 volte ti dà 8 manufatti leggendari, I guess, poi viola, eccetera. Se io lo faccio con quello, me ne dà 2, lo faccio 4 volte la stessa cosa. C'è anche la possibilità che te ne dà 3. 2 minimo, poi te ne dà anche 3 tanto. Quindi è la stessa cosa, perché te ne dà 4 di 8, vero? Alla fine forse non ha neanche torto il mio amico. L'unica cosa che mi fa paura è quanti manufatti nel senso, poi siamo 1500, ma avessi bisogno che uno 700-600 dovrebbe essere la stessa cosa. In effetti è la stessa cosa perché 64. Possiamo anche provare a fare la resina condensata. Da oggi in poi, non so, adesso io provo ancora. Poi vi dico. Proprio adesso c'è una voglia matta di continuare a fare questo evento qua, ma stamattina stavo impazzendo, quindi solo vedere se questo devi fare la fase preliminare. Ci manca ancora tanto. Calderone di fare una pozione avanzata superiore, purtroppo ho mandato via. Ho mandato via per sbaglio cosa, perché non ho fatto una cretinata assurda, ma non penso. Ho mandato via cosa, ma non l'ho fatta apposta, mi sono dimenticato. Vabbè, ma non penso che qualcuno mi ammazza. Vabbè, dai, prima o poi torna questa cosa, che tanto succeda qualcosa. Speriamo. Ma anche se succede qualcosa, è un cavolo di gioco, cioè nel senso anche se non ottengo tutte le primogemme dell'evento mi gira le scatole, ma è solo un gioco, perché mi dispiace, insomma. Non è una cosa poi così grave che succede qualcosa nella realtà. Io non ottengo... Non mi dà tipo 200 primogemme, non riesco a prendere all'archivio. Di ragionamenti c'ho in testa. No, beh, tanto è solo un gioco che succede, succede. L'importante è che sto bene e ho un lavoro. Poi, Genshin, quanto mi piace, è solo un gioco. Allora,
Leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it.
sì, era caso quello lì che giocava con la Raiden, eccetera. Ah, poi ho fatto cose di Gagno ieri dei discorsi e c'erano certe perle di Gagno. Gagno mi sa che è un po' come Yaka, nel senso che c'era qualche discorso che tipo ci provava proprio, si notava con c'era ridere. Vabbè, andiamo avanti, penso che l'unica cosa che ci rimane è fare... Infatti che oggi è lunedì, quindi bisognerebbe andare avanti con la cosa, però appena arriviamo alla reputazione livello 2 facciamo container. Il resto c'è tutto, questo qua l'abbiamo fatto stamattina. Ok. Boh, andiamo a Fontaine. Avevo fatto le mega scorciatoie sulla tastiera, non le uso neanche. Caccetto vai. Perfetti. Per chi se l'è perso, dobbiamo far sputare Rospo a Furina. Far sputare Rospo a Furina. Capire cosa ne sarà di Fontaine, I guess il mondo intero, perché adesso sempre ci hanno sbattuto davanti che se Fontaine diventa diventa cioè viene una mega inondazione inonda tutta Taiwan. Ci hanno sbattuto davanti. Sai, fanno sempre così, anche su me era la stessa cosa. E anche a lui era la stessa cosa. No, lui era forse... No, anche lui era la stessa cosa che ti dicevano. È una cosa a larga scala. Voglio usare ST. Poi se arriva un boss non fa niente. Lo affrontiamo. Quindi adesso poi avevamo incontrato Mona e Avevamo incontrato Mona e Mona ci aveva detto che ci faceva più sapere sul futuro di Fontaine, eccetera. Però adesso siamo arrivati a fare il mega piano e vediamo cosa succede.
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? So much has been happening.
Questi incontri mi hanno messo addosso molta
Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up, huh?
Però dicono che non hanno soldi, no? Poi si mettono tipo 3 giorni a bunkerare, non escono neanche dalla stanza a leggere libri. Eh. Sai che i soldi se li sono.
Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised.
Più sicura dopo gli incontri, Pan?
Well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Huh?
Aiuto. Qualcosa non va.
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all.
No.
Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Ah, sarà la mengiera.
Ah, have you forgotten me already?
No.
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
Ah,
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong.
Allora, vediamo un attimo chi è questo. Anche devo fare un impegno, ma non c'è tanta voglia. Preferisco starmene qua, ma non perché voglio nerdare, è che semplicemente ieri sono stato fino a fino alle 22 in giro con i miei colleghi. Quindi è stato tutto il giorno. Non c'ho voglia, anche se è una cosa importante. Quindi stavo pensando cosa fare. Mettiamo qua. Non so, forse è un po' brutto da dire, ma un membro della regia si è offerto a fare al posto mio. Magari c'è un così. Sicuramente lo dovrei fare io. Indipendentemente da chi lo fa, non fa niente, però il fatto è che è una cosa mia, quindi dovrei farlo io, solo che non ho voglia.
Huh. You're feeling lost now.
Allora, che te cosa vuoi da no? Scommetto che è quella di Monaci.
Hmm. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim.
L'incarico dell'apprendista di una mia amica. Permettimi una domanda, la profezia di Fontaine è vera?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
Ah, è un'amica della maga.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Tevat so easily be changed?
Aveva nessuna eccezione?
Ah, so you've caught on.
Mm.
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
Le cose che vedrai sono diverse dal destino che percepiscono gli dei?
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
Scary. E anche te nella tazza è ormai praticamente finito.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change.
Mm.
Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Il destino è la tua unica guida indipendentemente da quello che accadrà in futuro a te, infatti. Non devi fare altro che... devi fare altro che la tua.
Hmm. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
Voglio solo cambiare il titolo perché abbiamo ancora qualcosa da vedere. Cosa? Perfetto.
The voice. It's gone.
Ma la N, questo è l'inizio che ci hai lasciato? Che ci stai lasciando? Notizia inaspettata porta dei sentimenti contrastanti. Quando ti svegli sembra esserci qualcuno fuori.
What? Paimon hears someone talking. Alright, coming.
Stai diventando più intelligente.
Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter.
Funa!
Come ti sta?
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected.
Hmm.
Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around and waiting for the end to come would be wrong, and that they should make their own rescue preparations. I agreed, so we had a brief chat with her.
Ok.
Did she have pink hair by any chance?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. You remember her, right? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't reach the old hag. I'll try again tonight, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Per te è già arrivato qua.
Huh?
Racconti quello che è successo.
Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
Penso che sia venuta a trasmetterci un messaggio.
She said that even the
And
god's
goodness
ghost has
gracious.
blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon. Most people would believe the gods to be all-knowing, right?
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost.
Hmm.
But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Mi sarebbe un po' più vecchiotto.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then the problem you're facing must truly be of great importance.
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. She didn't say when or what that would be, though, so... Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now.
Forse è qualcosa che per il momento ti è precluso. Vero, le sue parole devono essere un aiutino, ma chissà quando capiremo il loro valore e significato. Forse era quella la mia risposta possibile alla mia domanda.
Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen, it cannot be swayed. But even so, I still hope for and believe in miracles. Astrology is eternal and rational, but fate may not be. It is cruel, but it can also be beautiful.
Beautiful no.
Perhaps that's what N was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart, and to believe that what you are seeing playing out before you is not yet set in stone. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Impegniamo fino all'ultimo come faremo per affrontare la fine. Sembra roba di Mass Effect 3. Arrivi verso la fine, scopri che alla fine è tutto è impossibile da fare, ma tu lo fai lo stesso. È veramente strano.
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. Sorry about that. The moment I start talking about work-related stuff. I need to get going.
Non preoccuparti, Mona, grazie.
It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I believe that you'll help those who are struggling in the same way I did.
Grande Mona.
I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Mi fa piacere che non la prendiamo più in giro, perché ogni volta che la incontriamo la prendiamo in giro. Mona.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said, but also kind of sad too. Hey, traveler, Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Va bene, andiamo dal giornalaio adesso. Stavo pensando di fare il giro lungo così ci prendiamo un po' di manufatti. E così mi sarebbe avere Yelan. C'è nell'altra squadra. Basta cambiare squadra, ma I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. Se mi dice di salire sopra, perché mi sembra che devi proprio salire sopra. Mi ricordo bene. Che barba. Sembra che è una roba tipo mega. Buonanotte al secchio. Ho fatto una volta e non lo fa più. No, vabbè, non ha senso. Se lo teletrasporto. Tipo come Skyrim. Skyrim della P3 ne vale la pena qualcosa fare, perché essendo che la P3 era lenta per i caricamenti di Skyrim, alcune cose facevi prima andare a piedi, anche se erano rotture di scatole. Però il teletrasporto lo usavo lo stesso. Ma non è una questione di lazy, è perché ho sbloccato il teletrasporto, perché non devo usarlo. Vabbè, infatti è quello.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. What's going on?
Diventati famosi?
Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy, but that does not mean that others cannot interact with it. My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Huh. Guess Charlotte still hasn't given up on that. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report? A blonde adventurer with their white fairy, legends trailing in their wake. It is said that this mysterious traveler once visited the underwater fortress.
Aiuto, adesso ci compare
So
da
while the
dietro.
fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the tales of the traveler contain surprises in spades. Journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet, the Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead?
Piace così.
Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon will forgive her this time.
There's die. Yes. There's die. Posto di caso mettiamo un saio, vedi come siamo contenti. Non è che dobbiamo fare una passeggiata, sto letteralmente correndo.
We're here! Paimon's hungry. Should we go in and get something to eat?
E poi non le acque. Ci troviamo dentro. Nave. Ci troviamo dentro. Aiac. No, non lo so. Chiore. Adesso arriva Chiore a casa.
Hey, quick!
Claro.
That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake!
Non è ancora tutto esaurito, però.
It was so delicious the last time we tried it! Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. I'm sure it'll be great!
Quella lì al balcone sembra la sala di Mozart. Non dobbiamo permettere a nessuno di passare davanti a noi.
One
Eh,
slice of cake,
eh,
please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Simpatico.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Che beh, mi sembra giusto.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
Pizzica che domanda.
But why would it close?
Appunto.
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know, like in the prophecy.
È preoccupato.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
You know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Beans.
Oh, you know Sichuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily, yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. So please try the cakes here. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
Simpatici. La 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 la.
And there she
Ah, non
goes.
saltella. Sì, sì, la retta saltella.
All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious.
Cambia uno sguardo con Palmer e vi dirò la terza.
It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with a sip of tea. It sure would be nice if we could come again tomorrow. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
Ho preso il vino, guarda. No, non so se è vino quello, però. Insomma. Può darsi. Finalmente hanno avuto 18 anni. Fa ridere perché la battuta è quella, poi lui è vecchio, molto più vecchio rispetto a molti personaggi.
Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Andiamo in su. Eccola lì. Presto, rischiamo.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Lo sapete?
You've got some nerve. You just used us to make some quick mora.
Devo accordarci sull'altra parte.
You needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It appears you didn't receive it, though.
È stato un po'
It's all right,
stitch.
though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best.
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
No. Ma Charlotte è simpatici.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Ma la base è che se non hai Rosaria va bene Charlotte, l'ho sentito. Però ha male cane coi critici. Charlotte.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden? Were you looking for me?
Yes.
When Mona mentioned you, we thought of coming to see you at work.
I see. It seems you've already bumped into Mona here in Fontaine. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Dio, tavolo, l'hai invitata.
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to request an exclusive interview with the legendary traveler and Paimon?
Attenzione, si è presa bene un'altra volta.
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Dovevo intervistare me.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the
Che
editor-in-chief
pazzo.
immediately. I'll have to apply for lighting, a venue, some props, and... Whew, so much to get done now. Talk to you later.
Partita. Andiamo.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
Oh, si è fermato.
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know what you're thinking. That sounds a bit sad, but I've always believed that it's best to do what you enjoy. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive interview with a truly unique person, then the story I would wind up writing would truly be timeless.
Beh, però l'acqua salirebbe e distruggerebbe tutti i tuoi articoli visto che sono in carta.
And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible.
Ah, ok, ho capito.
I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist.
Il giornalista è un bel lavoro, a me piacerebbe. Ma non quelli lì che vanno a intervistare le star, giornalisti tipo anche che vanno a fare le foto nei raduni e parlano con i proprietari delle macchine. A me piacerebbe fare giornalisti. O quelli che provano le macchine, anche se sarebbe bello. Quello sarebbe molto bello. Provare le macchine prima che escono, a me piacerebbe.
But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
Miau. Ok, le scale, porca
so
miseria.
nice.
Attenzione, mi
All
prendo
of a
male.
sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we?
Inizio. E quello di non viletto come lo facciamo? Ci ha teletrasportato.
The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking.
Sì.
If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose, what would you like to do?
Potessi scegliere. Proprio come diceva Charlotte, non ha senso provare a pensare cosa fare.
We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. We didn't have to either, with us always being on the road and whatnot.
On the road. Finché non arriva quel momento non penso che continua a essere in strada. Sì?
You mean, still traveling?
Godendomi ogni singolo attimo che ho a disposizione mia nel mondo.
Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
Perché c'è un nonno in mezzo? Lo scambio di battute fra di voi va avanti mentre il tempo passa. Con il calare della notte tornate ai vostri alloggi e terminate un'altra giornata campale. Le giornate successive sono uguali, Calma e Charlotte viene a trovarvi e intervistarvi nel rifugio della spina della rossa. Perfino Nave, dopo aver finito quello che doveva fare, possa fare un salto da voi e per una foto ricordo. Tutto sta andando bene. Tutto sta andando bene.
Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here. Wonderful.
C'è Isadora.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide.
Avevi pozioni dei criminali, eh?
Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him.
Giusto qualcosa?
Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
Aspetto, ma Kush aveva dichiarato un incidente, una mini rivolta.
A riot?
Ah,
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Furina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in.
non è che era il piano di...
The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Furina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, gods are also the first to be blamed.
So what
I
happened
mean,
after that? Is Furina
yeah,
okay?
because you can save us all, I guess. I mean... Sembra la cosa più giusta. Così, in seguito cosa è successo? Fino sta bene, dice poi?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Furina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
Scomparsa.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet.
Dove è
That
finito?
said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her?
Discuss.
Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but he didn't say anything else.
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go on. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Ah, is that so? Well, all right then. In that case, you two take care. I'll be heading back to the Palais now.
Abbiamo una nuova amica.
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then.
Hai capito infatti?
If we know Furina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait out the heat. And, as we also know, she may be loud and dramatic, but she doesn't have a heart of stone.
Sì, è sensibilissima quella ragazza lì da quando abbiamo capito.
When Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about Poisson, She couldn't hide her sadness and remorse. It would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Furina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Poisson and try to relieve the sense of guilt that she's feeling. Huh. Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up too. Cool, huh?
Cool, eh? Ci sta. Ma gli hanno abbassato un po' la voce perché non è. Ogni tanto si abbassa. Sembra quasi la voce di Gue. No, quella di Gue era un bassa bassa. Vedo che diventare un'investigatrice ti ha fatto bene. Sembra che quei romanzi ti hanno influenzato davvero tanto. Vedo che diventare un'investigatrice ti ha fatto bene.
In that case, there's not a moment to lose. Poisson, here we come.
Mi dà l'idea che fanno come Tomeo che dicono: ah, non sta succedendo assolutamente niente, stiamo passeggiando e bla bla bla, e poi alla fine parte del piano e dici: ma che cacchio. Sì, sembra che dovevano toglierci dalle scatole per un po' di giorni e poi intervenire.
This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
Prima che fa cretinate. Lo vedo. La vedo. La vedo. La vedo. Che pesce, no? Furina, pazza. Qua. Furina a me piace tanto come personaggio. Non so perché anche tutti i miei amici dicono: mi fa schifo, la odio. Ah, ma io la adoro, onestamente. Beh, se ci fosse un personaggio preferito di tutta la storia è sempre Nave. Ma se avere un personaggio che vorrei ottenere è proprio Furina. A parte che overpower as freak Furina, però. Vediamo, se appare Furina prima di coso del come si chiama? Miseria, mi ricordo. Di Arlecchino facciamo che prendere Arlecchino, anche se mi dispiacerebbe.
That's Furina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless.
No.
What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
No.
Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects, come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
C'è proprio il carattere così, eh? C'è il muro.
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera
Thank you.
House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the arts.
Yeah.
They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marish
my phantom are freaking out right next to them too.
Ovviamente anche quelli dello spettro di Manoscenurez sono in al panico. E oltremodo affante, non è vero? Smetti di far finta che non ti importi qui. Questo penso che sia quello più giusto.
Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there!
Come si è?
Quick, after her!
Furina, those people seem to be after you. They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
No. È partito.
Furina just ran off. Quick, we have to catch up with her.
Sembra una cosa a mo' di quei film adolescenziali che i ragazzi vengono rincorsi dalle ragazze, solo che il contrario. Che cacchio era? La scena di Scooby-Doo? Sì, no, 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 questa è una scena di Scooby-Doo, altro che... Altro che...
This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina!
Sì, sembra più una scena da Scooby-Doo.
There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you. What? What is this place? Hurry, they're almost here.
It's a trap!
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
La chiudono e ne ragazzi in casa. Povera Furina, poi mi dispiace, perché insomma senti piangere, eccetera, poi ritendi la trappola. Però sappiamo che negli eventi è tranquilla ed è contenta con noi, quindi meno male. Da una parte.
Paimon's exhausted.
Mm.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me.
Mm.
No, I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed.
Se conviene abbassare la voce per non farsi scoprire che
You're right. Yep, that's a good girl.
brava la mia ragazza. Aiuto.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Temo sia appena accaduto un altro disastro.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it? It can't be. It's happening again. Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Neverlette's made some emergency plans, so the evacuation should go a lot smoother this time. Yeah, I hope
A meno che
you're right.
qualcuno ha fatto il terremoto per finire.
But the people of Poisson, they've already...
Si sta piano piano aprendo. E Furina abbia raggiunto il limite, ora che sta parlando apertamente dei suoi sentimenti comincia a sembrare molto meno legnosa. Man mano che Furina si tranquillizza iniziate a parlare tra di voi.
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me.
Ma Furina non è male. Come personaggio. Devo guardare se devo andare su perché non... c'è il mio no. Guardato post. Che non vedo il mio nome. No, faccio così. Mhm. Poi mi piace il look di Furina, è fantastico. I capelli, l'occhio così è strano, ci sarà un motivo perché è così, però.
I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time.
Ok. Mentre lei parla di cose serie, ma io aspetto qua che mi dicono cosa fare.
We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled.
Non possiamo inimicarci di idee, qualsiasi cosa faremo la volontà sarà il corso. Non si stai ancora reso, giusto?
Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would mean finally coming to terms with fate, but also for me to finally be free.
Ma vorrebbe anche dire che ogni speranza è persa.
Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times, especially after we almost lost Poisson.
Mm.
Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, and so many people have already lost their lives.
Mm.
But just now, it all became clear to me. I still don't have the right to come to terms with fate on behalf of everyone else. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late.
Brava Fui.
Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end.
No?
Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all.
Ma toi.
Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Sì, devo andare... Devo andare... Devo andare... Il posto, il solito posto. Potrebbe mettere che Fontaine venga sacrificata in nome di una frivola profezia.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Come servendo il tempo, non possiamo semplicemente tornare al punto di partenza e devo capire più informazioni. Fino potresti non dover portare da sola questo fardello. Sebbene non sappia cosa potresti tenere nascosto a tutti quanti, il tuo popolo è più che disposto a condividere il tuo fardello con te.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Anche se il tuo fardello non deve essere condiviso, puoi sempre decidere di confidare in qualcun altro. Condividilo con me. Sarò quello che chiameresti un testimone.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. In other words, you never belonged here.
Già.
And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're just a spectator, aren't you?
Sì.
If that's the case...
Attenzione, ce lo dice. Non c'è più tempo per fare Furina, sputa rosso. Infatti,
I...
l'hanno portata via. Ok. Cavoli.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So, this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
Ripeto, mi sta simpatica Furina, non so perché. C'è un po' quel carattere del cacchio. Vabbè, non è cattivo. Forse se non facevo gli eventi dicevo che barba, dai, fai qualcosa. Però con gli eventi, quando fai gli eventi capisci che è una brava ragazzuola.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
Occhioni.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Furina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes.
Oh.
You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Furina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice! This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Good.
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Furina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my
my opponent in this trial.
Adesso dice
The
io.
court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Io?
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
Siamo così vicini a far compassare, siamo comunque finiti così. Va bene, l'importante è sconfiggere Furina in tribunale, così avremo l'opportunità di capire tutto. Oh.
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins. Just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you.
Credo che in meno di 15 minuti devo poi fare una commissione. No. Comunque oggi c'è il fatto che volevo stare un po' di più con voi a giocare. Il fatto non è giocare a Stars. Oggi è lunedì.
The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark was all we needed to turn smoldering anger into a flame.
C'è anche quella lì che dicono che è anziana, ma non sembra anziana.
Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait there.
So, you mean, the ones who scoured the settlement for me were also from the Spina?
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontanian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off.
Assurdo. Ci hanno aiutato i quattro, non ci posso credere.
We had to select a location, construct a giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole house?
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Chiedo scusa.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts.
C'è anche cosa.
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the trial may commence without a hitch. Am I right?
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only the most outstanding champion duelist in all of Fontaine would accept a duel with an Archon without flinching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As for you, traveler, I suppose your role was to keep me distracted with conversation once you found me in Poisson. You'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto the stage.
Non hai indovinato.
Oh?
La mia missione consisteva nel darti un'ultima opportunità. Speravamo che condividessi il tuo segreto con noi prima che la cassa magica arrivasse sul palco.
Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Cioè, certo, l'unica cosa che possiamo fare ora è giudicare la condita. Pure non riesco a pensare alla conversazione di prima, che cosa voleva dirmi Furina prima di che arrivassimo sul palco.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Pure Charlotte.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything that's happened ever since we stepped foot in Fontaine! So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument!
Non avevo mai pensato di usare qualcosa.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
Alright, okay.
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Ah.
I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Nervillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Speriamo di ricordare.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this.
Ah, c'è abbiamo questo. No, ok.
Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon.
Lì che parla, attenzione.
Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Charlatan.
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge?
Aiuto. Non mi sorprende affatto sta cosa perché ho visto tanti di quei meme su Aoyolo.
Lady Furina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? You have to not only refute Furina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
La gente ti vede solo come una Archon perché è questo che è stata abituata a credere.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Non è che è una cosa, una... come si chiama già? Di esseri fatti di acqua. No? Nell'incontro è rivelato indicato Furina per conto proprio perché è possibile che non sia Archon questo.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Una maledizione.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
Non importa che ci aveva dato, l'importante è la veridicità dell'info. No.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Novelet sensed it too, huh?
Allora, Furina, anziché un arco non potresti essere soltanto un'anima vittima di una maledizione. È un ilico.
Furina is actually a human?
Cos'è un ilico?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
Volge lo sguardo verso l'attrice. In questo teatro pensare che l'inedito è utilizzato per in ogni aspetto della vita. Un momento, quel processo ha dimostrato il contrario, Furina non ha alcun potere sull'attrice.
sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue can be used as compelling evidence.
E qual è già il processo? Che non mi ricordo. Questo, no. Persino fuori. Ah, sì, scemo. Confusa. No, è che pensavo che me lo metteva automaticamente.
But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
No, mi dispiace per voi.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
Certamente però possiamo mettere da parte l'attrice. Ma allora Furina, potresti darci una breve dimostrazione del doppio carattere di Arco?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
Il Giungliere lo faceva, anzi il Giungliere non l'ha fatto, la Reina lo faceva. 20 ne ha.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Una breve dimostrazione del tuo potere non potrebbe essere dovrebbe essere piuttosto innocua. Sicuramente un arco potrà almeno eguagliare la capacità di un umano con una visione.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium!
Aiuto!
Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Aiuto!
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Credo tra poco devo fare una telefonata.
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me?
Manca solo che...
Please? You've got to believe me.
Ci manca solo che non è un...
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, If I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? Seems like she really doesn't want to give up.
La facciamo dimostrare che non è un'acqua, possiamo cercare di provare che sia umana. Se è umana. Quelli del mare primordiale. Ma questo? Non so. Ho sparato a caso.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Visto che stai colomando con l'accusa, la prego di fare che sia come legale troppo nana prima di rivolgersi alla corte. Deve comunque seguire la procedura.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Iniziamo. Aiuto. Furina.
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only mean...
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Okay, the price.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
Ha davvero fatto?
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who is...
Guardate che non è sia di Fontaine, che cacchio ne sai?
Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewing? If you're present, Miss Siegewing, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Dove sei, Giù?
Siegewing? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewing.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegeween. Lady Furina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse to serve as an expert witness. It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Furina could have...
Dissolved.
I can't believe... You...
Che caspita sta succedendo qui? Furina non poteva non essere consapevole delle conseguenze di un simile atto. Non si comporta così di solito, a meno che per lei salvare l'apparenza non conti più della sua vita. Ma non aveva già rinunciato tutto molto tempo fa?
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing. Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water?
Aiuto.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. Just too stacked against her now.
Guarda, Furin tiene tutto dentro, poi la gente la insulta. Mi dispiace.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is...
Ah, vede anche loro. Cappore.
Guilty.
Arriva un attimo, devo fare una cosa. Datemi il telefono. Sì, devo prepararmi per partire. Dimmi solo un attimo se riusciamo a finire sta cosa. La Furina, a me mi dispiace. Ho provato tutti sti anni, adesso la
We shall
fanno
now turn to the
colpevole.
oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Cosa dici che non è colpevole? Vediamo cosa
According
spara.
to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Furina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Non è colpevole.
No, the oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Ah sì?
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty.
Ah.
To be punished via the death sentence.
Morte.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
Ma no, io Furina la voglio, cioè nel senso la voglio di vita.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Cosa penserete che anziché dire Furina l'oratrice ha messo contro l'arcondido?
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Possiamo scappare.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Me devo partire tra poco.
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
Ragazzi, devo andare adesso. Tengo il computer acceso. Ci vediamo tra poco, bene? Perché tanto non posso fare altrimenti, ok? Ciao, ciao, ciao.